problems. Let's give us a quick refresh. We'll go over the images you guys have been working on. Let's see what we got. Let's have a look. So newest. Did I see Paul was most relevant then? Most relevant. Oh, Paul, you made it, mate. Most relevant. According to Meta. Love to see it. Okay. So what we got here? That is Sadia Wibbly, right? I think that is, yeah. However you say her name, yeah. Okay, so we've got one from Paul here. Let's have a look. This is looking good, man. This is looking really good. This was something new for me. The 8400 behind the model. Smoke machine behind the model. Strip box in front. Split diopter on the lens. This is awesome, man. This is really cool. And the fact that you've done it in camera, love that. So those of you who are not aware, split diopter is almost like a lens that like a magnifying lens, but like a half cut of it. So you see here where we've got like where the body is kind of magnified at the bottom of the lens, and then where you can see where the diopter ends, it kind of goes up into this, which is her in focus. This is really cool, and the fact that you did this all in camera, Paul, love this. Absolutely love this. Yeah, really good, really good. Love the color grade that you've gone for. You've really lent into the like the warm color grade. She's wearing this kind of red one piece here, and then you've kind of lent into the warmth with the skin as well. Very cool. Yeah, this is good stuff, man. Good stuff. One thing that I personally prefer over the diopter is the tilt shift lens, or in this instance, like the lens baby edge. If you don't have that, love that thing. Yeah, absolutely love that thing. I think I did a couple of them, but yeah, this is super old. This is back in 2017, but this edge is outstanding, right? I can't zoom in on that because back when I was making the website, I don't know why I didn't make it, so I could click on that. But this thing is razor sharp, so sharp, and you're able to get stuff just knocked out of focus like very smoothly. I don't know whether I've still got the image at the bottom here. I might do. There you go. So I think we'll wait for that to load. There you go. So this is all in camera. So this is like the edge. So the eye is in focus there, so crisp, and then this is completely knocked out because of that shift lens baby edge. So very cool. Yeah. Oh, the old D610, I think that was old beast. Yeah, look how sharp that is though. Yeah, and the lenses are not expensive, so that's just personally. For me, that's what I prefer over those diopters. But this is a great way just to throw it on and play with it, especially seeing as the edge is like a manual focus lens, and it takes ages to focus it and that sort of stuff. This is very quick and easy to put on, but very effective. Yeah, really cool. I think he did a good job with the smoke as well to actually look legit, as opposed to smoke that's either just billowing and just thick or just not everywhere. So I think he did a really good job to kind of have it everywhere in the space. Very cool. I love this. Yeah, good stuff. And again, like the final color grade on that is good as well. A little bit of Tony love. Hey, warm the old cockles. Anders here had a shoot last weekend with a model, and this was one of the setups we did. Key light is an optical snoot. Those of you who don't know, is like a lens on the front of a light which focuses the beam, so very hard light, with a blurry pattern to get some dappled light. So is that, I don't know if you're still here, Anders, is that like a gobo to get the blurry pattern, or have you just hung a pair of knickers over the end to get that effect? And I say that in jest, but we have certainly hung a pair of knickers over the light to get this kind of dappled effect. Softbox with a magenta gel as a fill and a teal gel strobe on the white background. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, love this. So I spoke a moment ago about gobos looking like gobos, and this doesn't. Like, this looks like dappled light. So I'm not sure what Anders is using here, whether it's a gobo and he's just knocked it really out of focus, or whether he's just kind of put some stuff in front of the lens, in front of the optical spot. we would often go outside and like just pull like a branch off the tree, right, and then just hold that in front of the light, and that would give you kind of like a similar effect as well. But yeah, this definitely doesn't look like a gobo, which in my opinion is what you want. You want it to look kind of textured light, but without it being, you know, obvious. So I think this is very cool. Yeah. And it's a gobo but unfocused. Nice. Okay, so he's knocked it way out. That's best of both worlds. If you're able to make a gobo look legit like this, like you've actually got something, you know, in front, and that's good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did you have to do quite a bit of post on the background here to smooth out the colors? Sometimes it's just the nature of the job, especially when you're shooting full body like this. But yeah, very, very cool. Yeah. Did this turn out in the end as you envisaged it, Anders? Is this like, this is the idea I had in mind, and boom, I managed to achieve it, or were you just kind of playing with it on the day? One tip with posing and stuff here, it looks like she's doing it anyway, but if a model is sat on the edge of these on a stool or something like that, get them to sit on. I think Anders has done it well here, but yeah, always just get them to kind of sit on the edge so that the butt cheek creates a curve as opposed to being flat. Just always keep them on the edges of these seats, just to make sure that the body is looking, you know, clean curves and stuff. Like it a lot though. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So Anders says, I reinforced the magenta parts of the background. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't calling you out on that. I was just speaking from experience. I know that I know that it happens, especially when colors mix. You know, colors when two colored lights mix, they can sometimes create other colors. Blue and purple is usually pretty good. These blues and magenta colors actually just tend to gradiate pretty well. But you know, if you're kind of interested, I can show you. If anybody's curious, I did do like a cheat sheet here. And here, it kind of shows you what colors you get, right? So I don't think we had... Yeah, so there you go. So blue and magenta there kind of mixes nicely. If you go like red, if you go like red and blue, you get kind of like this pink color that's cool. Red and cyan kind of neutralize each other, right? And then you get kind of these weird ones down here, like red and green gives you yellow, like some real weird ones when you're overlapping color. So sometimes it can be useful to use like a cheat sheet like this. If you're going, I want to add a couple of colors to this shot, I know that they're going to be overlapping, or maybe a gradient in the background. Until you get used to what these colors are doing, this can be kind of like a useful cheat sheet to kind of have. Just to refer back to. So Tony says, trying to compose with the best of all worlds while still being my own creation. My cosplayer is real. That needs to be said nowadays. It's true, Tony. It's true. The main street is a 3D model rendered by me in Blender. Damn, Tony. Okay, I see you. Damn, that's looking... Jesus, really? Tony, you've been keeping that skill pretty quiet. What the hell? I would never have known, you know, that wasn't real. That's wild, man. The Main Street 3D rendered in Blender. I'd love to get good at Blender. But the people were added using Nano Banana because I don't have any 1930s clothes meshed. So this is the thing that Jamie was talking about. This is the thing that we chatted about last stream. We were playing with this Nano Banana thing. So what Tony's clearly done, I presume, is... I know Tony's not on yet. Tony is in Australia. It's like 6 a.m. for him. I presume what Tony's done is given Nano Banana this image of the 1930s background and said, can you add 1930s people walking on the street. That would probably be my guess. So he's given it this background image and then it's added these people, which is wild how effective that is, if I'm right. And then he's just shot this on top. Yeah. My only feedback here, Tony, is I would just say we just need to be, tighter on color grading this foreground dude to the the same colors in the background, because we got some nice rich kind of greens and stuff in the grays and shadows here, which I think is indicative of the time, giving you that nostalgic vibe. So I think the background grade is good. I just think we need to kind of apply that same grade to this dude in the front. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, very, very impressive. And when you get up in a bit and watch the stream, do let us know if that's how you got those people in the streets back there. Very cool. I got one from Terry here. Nice. I didn't see this before, Terry. Oh, yeah, I did it 2 hours ago. Okay. I see you coming in late. That's all right, mate. So Terry's got 2 lights set up, leaning into the golden hour. This is awesome. That's good stuff. AD 300. God, Godoc's making some money on those ADs, man. Hey, who hasn't got an AD? And an AD 200 basically on the same axis with the orange gel to fill. Both bare heads. Okay. This year experimented with gels outdoors more, and it's been a learning curve. Okay. This is looking good, man. It's looking good. So 2 lights set up, leaning the golden hour. 8300 and 80 basically on the same axis with orange shadow fill. Let me grab my brush. So let's look at so this is in the background, right? And we've got the sun coming up behind her here. Now my guess is, looking at this, is that we have, this is the rooftop, right? We got the model here, and my guess is what he's saying is he's got a light back here on the same axis as a light here. We've got a little bit of light from behind, maybe, or like when you say on the same axis, like what else do you mean? But otherwise, look, I think you've done a great job of balancing these out, and like the warmth that you've added here in the light on the skin looks good, man. Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah. Now literally side by side. Okay. So we've got, so not this one back here. So we've got one here, which is, or maybe even further around, because I'm looking at the nose shadow. So come in here, and then one, I don't know where that other one is, because we've only got one shadow here. Yeah. Both bare heads. A bare head would give you a strong shadow, so I'm just kind of curious as to where that is. Yeah. Maybe there's one in the front here. Either way, looks good, man. However you did it, make sure you know how you did it so you can recreate it next time. Slightly in front, closer to me. Okay, so yeah, so round here. Okay, gotcha. So here, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and then you're here. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay. How'd you get on this roof? Is there a ladder, or is there some sort of, is this like, this roof looks remarkably clean. Did you brush this up, or was it taking ages of retouching? Yeah, I don't know if you still see the catch light. Yeah, baby. Yeah. It's just interesting to know. But as long as you know, Terry, because whatever you did here is nailed it. You've got tons of data in the shadows here, which is nice. Like the hands aren't being lost. The background is nice and dark. We don't, nothing's distracting back there. It's not, it's not correctly exposed, and it's not dominating with the subject. The subject is very clearly outlined against the background. This is good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Yeah, really good stuff. Yeah. Nice to have a little, pop of flair coming in here. Getting Boris effects, get that pumped up. Yeah, really good. Yeah, and like I said, I like the fact that you kind of lent into the color grade here as well. Yeah, good stuff, man. Kind of sus on this floor though. I got a feeling that must have been a nightmare. So Raz, this is wild, Raz. This is crazy, because I mean, I'm kind of tempted to go back and see I'm sure it was the previous live stream or the previous share a shoot. You shared some images. I'm pretty sure it was you. This was the previous share a shoot. I know maybe it wasn't. I'm convinced that you shared one and it was like very good, or like huge improvement. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So we have had your work in the past. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm determined to find it now. Just super curious. Yeah. That was a big share shoot. 38 comments. That was wild. Yeah. Here it is. It is you. Yes, I thought it was you. So this is your previous gel shoot that we spent some time going over and giving some feedback on, right? And then this is where you are now, which is like what, a month or something like that. It's fucking wild, man. Huge gains. This is just like massive difference. Like check that. It's nuts, man. Yeah. So Raz, so back then, like a month ago, right? Just under. First time trying the type of photography, totally loved it. Inspired by the goat, Jake Hicks used 2 RGB panels, right? So this was him last time. We spent a little bit of time going over some feedback, and then boom. That's nuts, Raz. That's huge gains, man. You're absolutely, really impressive. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Second time at Creative Color Photography. Second time. 2 newer LED panels to rear of model, gelled, beauty dish at front. Nice. I've concluded this is a tough style of photography. I don't know, man. You seem to be getting it under control. Found how to tweak the colors in Lightroom to achieve a look in mind. What tips do you have for getting this right in camera? Oh, the truth's coming out now. So this is a complete mess in camera. Not sure if the honeycomb was narrow enough, and the beauty dish was the studio's quite a big one. Okay. So yeah, without seeing the raw, it's difficult to give you feedback other than look, this is looking good. Things that I'm looking for though when I'm shooting this, right, is I'm looking for a nice even bead of light, kind of pretty much all the way around, right? Which you kind of got there, it's like we're seeing it here as well. You kind of getting it, right? The other thing that I'm kind of looking for when I'm doing this is these nice kind of tonal changes in color, right? So we have highlight that fades off to shadow here. So this beautiful highlight, right? This highlight fades off to shadow here. And then what I'm looking for, right? If you want to get super fucking nerdy about it, what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for this shadow, highlight. I'm looking for that range. Yeah, always looking for that range. Now what I want to happen here is I want this highlight to start fading off into shadow before the next highlight kicks in, okay, which is what you've done, which is good, man, because it's like it's tough, right? Like that is it's tough to do, and that's the whole premise of the lighting. That like you can just choose any of these. They're all kind of doing the same thing, right? So highlight, and then it goes off into shadow before it hits the highlight again. Yeah. So kind of more moody here because I've got a colored beauty dish here and then a colored fill as well. This one as well, right? So talking about this bead of light going around can be difficult when the model is doing very kind of big poses like this, but to try and have this bead of light going all the way around is key. But yeah, so this highlight, see it drops off in the shadow before it picks up the highlight again. So what you're doing is right. Yeah, you just got to kind of capitalize on that. So the only kind of problem area that we have here is this kind of pocket of shadow down here, right? I love the exposure up here, nice tone. Even like it's fine to have the legs slightly darker than the top, but just watch out for this kind of dark pocket down here. Yeah. Yeah. Well, otherwise, good stuff. So I found I had to tweak the colors in Lightroom. Yeah, it's a tough style of photography. Yet, not sure the honeycomb was narrow enough. I'm trying to work out where the honeycomb is. Where is the honeycomb on this? Not sure the honeycomb was narrow enough, but the beauty dish, I think the beauty dish is good because the beauty dish is giving us this beautiful, or A is giving us these nice catch lights unless you added them. But we're getting these nice highlights on the face here, right? I'm getting this nice highlight here, which is great. I'm just trying to work out where the honeycomb is, because the LED panels on the sides are doing the colors, right? Yeah. The beauty dish, when you say quite a big one, the one that I use is 22 inches, Raz. That's the perfect beauty dish size you want. No smaller, no bigger, 22 inch, right? If you go any smaller than that, you've got to be careful that the diffusion comb doesn't result in you having a dark pocket in front when you bring it in too close, right? And if you have any bigger than that, then it takes up too much room and you can't shoot underneath it when it's in a, when it's in front. So the 22 inch is the sweet spot. That's the size of the beauty dish you want for your key, and that's the one that I would use like 90% of the time. Yeah. You had the honeycomb on the dish. Gotcha. Okay. So it's going to be dependent on the size of the beauty dish you've got. So the only, I mean, yeah, you could use it, and again, without seeing the BTS or the RAW, it's difficult to judge. But if she's facing this way, your camera is over here, right? If the beauty dish is in close, if it's in close enough, you shouldn't need the honeycomb. But if your beauty dish is like back here, right, and it's spreading light everywhere, then yeah, you're going to need the honeycomb. So in theory, if you've got a 22-inch beauty dish and you're bringing it in like arm's reach away from her, so if she puts her hand up, it should just be just out of reach to her, you shouldn't need the honeycomb. Yeah. Hopefully that helps. Yeah. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I think you're doing fine. Yeah, I think you're doing fine. Yeah. That's wild, man. That is fucking crazy. Yeah. See, look, I mean, somebody listened to me and shock horror got better. Like, wow. Just imagine somebody finally listened. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So Wibbly here, older shoot with a couple of softboxes, how to play with the Boris optics and put the gobo effect in post. Thanks for discount code. Okay, so Wibbly here is just kind of playing around. He's got his Boris effects set up now. Finally, after I got my act together, and he's playing around with the gobo effect in there. So one thing that's kind of interesting on this that may not be immediately apparent to those of you looking at this, but one thing that's really interesting that the Boris effects does is it kind of puts these displacement maps in. So it essentially works out the curvature of the subject based on highlights and shadow, right? So you can see here the gobo is wrapping around the model, because Wibbly's just done this in Boris effects in Photoshop afterwards, right? So this Venetian blind effect is all done in post, but it's looking at the shape and structure of the subject that it's on, and it's kind of wrapping it around her, which is like, it's a pretty powerful tool, because otherwise in Photoshop you would just normally and it would just be slapped on top and that's fine, but it's actually looking at the highlight and shadow in the image underneath. Yeah, very cool. And Wibbly always does a good job of colors. We've got this nice mix here of magenta and green, which always go nicely together. Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah. So let's have a look. Jamie posted some images here from the Nano Banana stuff. I think Jamie's probably having his supper. So okay, so I think this is the image that he gave Nano Banana, and I think if Jamie's still here, correct me if I'm wrong, he said make the model like covered in poison ivy and stuff against the city and that sort of thing. So just a couple of just a couple of sentences, maybe even just like a sentence worth of description from that, like from this to that, using Nano Banana is wild, man. Right, it's crazy. Like these are wild times, man. These are wild times. Right, we've got another one here. So again, Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong if you're still here, but you gave it this and said turn her into Catwoman. Like, I'm sorry, man. You are not telling that. Oh, weird, it adjusted the whip. The offset is tweakable. Okay. So Wibbly's talking about this. So the offset. Oh, okay, Wibbly. So you're saying that you can adjust how much of a wrap this is. Okay. Okay. Here. Yeah, I need to get in there again and play with it. I literally to say that I scratched the surface, I think was being generous. Yeah. So Jimmy says it was the most basic instructions, nothing elaborate. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah. So this is the image he gave it. Turn and then make her look like Catwoman. I mean, sure, like you could maybe tweak the whip here to connect it up a little bit, but I guess there's no way you're telling and going, oh yeah, it's fake. Yeah, I can see that you've AI'd that catsuit on. It's crazy, absolutely crazy, man. And like you're saying, Jamie, it took you what, like 2 minutes? You just put in like a couple of sentences. It's not like you're. I mean, because Wibbly or Sin here in YouTube, I think you use Midjourney a bunch, right? And it can take you half an hour to get kind of what you want through the prompts and that sort of thing. But yeah, this is just so quick now. But again, what Sin is doing with Midjourney is he's starting from like a blank canvas, whereas what Jamie's doing here is giving it an initial image to kind of work off. But like it's working out the lighting and everything here. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Yeah. I was just playing around. My mate was in the Photo Goes, all the Comic Cons. Yeah, it was about 1 minute. Crazy, man. Yeah. So again, this is the Nano Banana thing from Google. If you guys haven't played with it, then yeah, go for it. Just get AI to retouch your images, and then you can add them. Once you've got Evoto to retouch your shots, you can get Google to dress them up for you. I don't know, man. I don't know where we're going with this. I don't know. Yeah. I'll say this about Nano Banana. Further instructions don't really work. Better to get it right in the first instruction. Yeah, when I was playing with it on stream, and to be fair, I am terrible at this prompt thing. My brain isn't wired up for this. I was saying to Jamie earlier on, I'm not like creative enough to work it to its full extent. I'll like add catch lights to the eyes is about the extent that I will give it. But if you've got the imagination to play with it, I mean, like Tony has been doing tons of stuff. So Tony up here when he's playing around with like this, right, like super elaborate. Yeah, he's made this, and then he's really using it to its fullest potential. In my opinion, he's given it this 3D render of a 1930s New York, and then he's got it to fill it with people walking around in 1930s clothing. I mean, that's genius idea. I mean, it would be a huge expense to get this done, and it's a really good use for it. Really good use for it. I'm just not wired up that way. Yeah. Not verbally creative, yeah. That's very generous, Jamie. Yeah. So we got one from Alan here. It was inspired by Penny Dreadful and Eva Green. Okay, yeah. This was shot in my lounge. Nice, using a backlight with a blue gel, a smoke machine, a medium softbox, and kicker light. Okay. Alan, I love your creativity in the in the space that you have, and I think some of these limitations that we have with space or equipment and technology can help us to grow and learn, right? So I think sometimes having these limitations can make you better. When I was in the studio years ago, we had bugger all in terms of creative props and modifiers and that sort of stuff, and it forced us to be very, very creative in the studio with not much. So I certainly commend you for achieving this in your lounge, which typically here in UK and Europe and that sort of thing, low ceilings, right? Not huge spaces. So yeah, fair play, man. Good stuff. So looking at the light from behind, it's looking good, yeah. See a little bit of edge here. Nice, big, and again, like black satin or whatever it is here can be tricky, but we've got this nice, beautiful, big highlight here, which is probably from your kicker. Yeah. The smoke machine. I take it the smoke machine obviously didn't set off the fire alarm unless you pulled the battery out. This is good stuff, man. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah. Very nice, very nice. This is again that we were talking about this example of like flat imagery or lifted shadows and and kind of crushed highlights as well. And this is one of those things where I'd be interested to see a variation of this where there was a bit more contrast. Maybe play with a bit more contrast in here because you have the data, right? So you can crush it in post and get away with it, right? Because you have all the information here. So it might be nice to play with that, crush it down a bit, get some contrast in here, and then start playing around with some stronger color grades. Maybe just add some extra warmth in here. Could be cool, something to play with. But great shot, Alan. Yeah, and again, congrats for doing it in a small space like your front room. So Lennart here, projectors are getting really cheap these days, so I wanted to try my luck with this little beauty, set up incorporating a flower image from this €120 Amazon projector. Okay, rather standard lights, otherwise blue LED in the octabox above the camera, 2 pink LEDs and the tube either side. Next time definitely want the projection to cover larger pieces of the body, glowing tattoo of sorts. That could be cool, yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, adding it for that. Yeah, this is really good stuff, Lennart, yeah. And the projectors are so slept on, man. They just honestly, I mean, look, I'm not going to turn this into an advert, but it's like you can do so much with them, and just, I mean, look, all this, and like Lennart says there, they're not expensive. I would avoid the Amazon ones that tend to be the LED ones that can be a bit shitty on the colors and the brightness, but even so, you can spend 150, 180 quid secondhand on eBay and get a very good resolution one. Like, you can do so much with them. Absolutely wild. Yeah. Obviously, if you're interested, check out my Art of Projection workshop online. The blatant plug, but this is a great shot, isn't it? Yeah, really, really good. I like you thinking about new ideas as well as to how you can develop it further. Yeah, playing with projectors and the pixels is one of the biggest issues, but it looks like you've managed to avoid it here. I think maybe because the image is quite small on the face. As soon as you start using it large on the skin, you can run into the pixel issue. But it looks like you've managed to avoid it here, which is good. Yeah, very, very cool. This is the sort of image that you would see, right? You scroll and this would definitely catch your eye. Right? You would definitely stop and go, oh, wow, that's interesting, right? And I think that's a huge quality that we should be looking at in images today, is really trying to catch somebody's attention, and this would definitely do it. Very, very cool. Yeah. Hopefully you start playing around with this more. Than I think it'd be cool to see where you could take this. I love this idea. Definitely want a projection to go cover large pieces of the body like a glowing tattoo of sorts. I could see that working. I could see that being cool for sure. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Is this you, Lennart? Is this you, Leo? Is this the same person? Cheap projector lens also helps because it's not sharp enough to show the pixels. That's interesting. Yeah, I wonder. You could be onto something there. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it could be. I know people have thought, you can just defocus the projector and that gets rid of the pixels. It doesn't. Like the pixels are just more noticeable. But the lens thing could be right. It is you. Okay, cool, man. Yeah, nice. Okay, yeah. So you already come from. You said earlier on you come from like a video background. So you're obviously used to this sort of visual tech anyway. Yeah, very cool. We got one from Chris here at the end. I felt in the mood for some rock styling on my shoot at the weekend with Jessica Wilcock. Oh, well, Jessica, yeah, okay, she's still going. That's good. Wanted it low key. Is she still modeling, or is she doing something else now, Chris? I've always meant to. I worked with her years ago. years ago. I will come back to Chris. I just want to see if that image of Jess is still on the website, because I know they get pushed off the bottom. Yeah, no, it's been pushed off the bottom a long time ago. Yeah. Wanted it low key, as if she stepped out of the shadows to do a guitar solo. Okay. Standard 5-light Rotalight setup. 2 AOS in front on white. Okay. With the clamshell set up, 2 at the back on each side. So we got maybe the reds back here. We can see something back here. Yeah. There's headlights and 2 neo on back facing forward to light the smoke. Okay, so that's lighting the smoke there. Okay. I matched the red lights with a hair color. I noticed that. I thought that was a cool touch. Yeah. With 85mm 2.8 ISO 100. Yeah. I may have brought the guitar from. I may have bought the guitar for the. Isn't that a Jackson V? Isn't that expensive, Chris? That's a proper flying V, no? Can never have enough guitars. Oh, so you are a guitar nerd. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, as long as you use it. Yeah. I mean, that's practically a business expense, right? Yes, she is still modeling. Jamie says, yes, she's still modeling. Shot her for the thing I did. Lol. Okay, cool. Where's she based? She based up north for you guys, is she? Yeah, no, I photoshopped Jackson logo on it. Chris, I mean, fair play. I didn't notice, but fair play to you. Fair play. Yeah, he's doing a good job of that. Yeah. Let's see, we got anything in here. I'm just kind of curious is there any... Oh, also, just while I'm here, old man rants at clouds. Like, Photoshop, what is this shit? Like, do we need all of this? Like, can I not just... Can I not have it smaller? I just want the old ones back. Anyway, let's see. I don't know, man. I'd be tempted to bring out more. I think there's so much in here, Chris, that would be. I think there's so much in here that would be a shame to. I mean, and I'm obviously working on the low resolution JPEG, so you would have more in here. I think you could afford to bring this up, man. I really do. And you can still have the contrast. We don't want to go, to the 15 stops of dynamic range situation. I think you could still have the contrast. I really do. But I think it would be nice to just see just a touch more in here. I think there's a lot going on here that would be cool to see. Yeah. I think you could do it for sure. Yeah. Yeah, the JPEG, there's nothing there, but yeah. It's a cool shot though, man. And her hair is looking awesome. Yeah, I would be tempted. I would be tempted to go back and bring it out. And look, if you wanted, you could send it over, or we could do it next stream. I could have a play, see what we could pull out of it. But I'm pretty confident there's a ton of detail in there from the lighting that you've set up. And the reason I say that is because I can see all the highlights are in the right place. So I'm pretty sure that all the light is we've got this nice highlight down here that fades off the shadow. I can see the lights are in the right place. The face is well lit, considering she's looking down. That's as good as the face is going to be when it's looking down. So I'm pretty confident all your lights are in the right place. I would just be really tempted just to see if we can squeeze out just a touch more, right? Because I think we could see if we could just see the edge down here would be cool, Yeah. If you wanted next stream, I'd be open to having a look, because I am intrigued, because like I said, it looks like you've lit it properly. We just need to see if we can pull something out of that. I'd be interested to see what's in there. Very great shot though, great shot. I love that, the red and the black and stuff is definitely there. Yeah, can do it easily. Yeah. No, Photoshop Dex logo on it. Crew, she's in crew. Okay. Treasures and highlights of the image. You're absolutely right, Jamie. You would do, but I think in that JPEG there was nothing there in the exposure thing. Yeah. but it's just too rock and roll. I agree, Chris. Chris, no, I agree. Like, I think you could have the contrast. Look, you know, like it's a very different vibe to Alan's shot here, right? Which is not like that. This is kind of more whimsy with the smoke, and that I totally get that. I'm not saying you go that far. I think you could definitely do the contrast, but yeah, you know. You can have the old adjustments panel back. Just click on the, here we go. This is what I wanted. You want the old adjustment panel back. Just click on the lines to the right of the adjustment and choose classic layout. In here, there's no. Oh, in here. Let's have a look. Modern view, classic view. Oh my god, a legend. Well, absolute legend, right? Do you know what I mean? I do these streams for free, but sometimes it's worth it. You know, sometimes streaming for free, it makes it all worthwhile. Leo, thank you, mate. That is that. Oh, I can finally have more room. There we go. Oh, look at that. It's better already. What a legend. A legend. Old man shouts at clouds. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Good stuff. Good stuff. Look, I'm good at lighting, right? That's where the skill ends. Good stuff this week though, guys. Good crop of images, all pretty much studio work as well, right? And even Terry took the studio outside here. I would say Tony looks like he shot him in a studio as well, so good stuff. All good, like good colors as well this week. Good color grades. Everybody's got a firm grasp of color as well. Yeah, I think we can tighten up this one, Tony, but otherwise this one as well. Like, a lot of you guys are leaning into color, and what I mean by that is you're not using a grey card. Is what I'm getting at, and I love to see it. What I wouldn't want to see is I wouldn't want to see a grey card in here and then this just ruined, right? I wouldn't want to see that. I wouldn't want to see a grey card being used here and this just getting ruined. So when I was speaking about these color tools and that sort of thing and earlier on, that's what I'm kind of getting at. Sometimes these color tools and that sort of stuff can kind of strip the personality out of some of these shots, right? So I think it's useful to learn how to use those tools, but there's a time and a place for it. And look, I'm not having a jibe at Danny here, because Danny's doing professional work, events where people don't want to look bright orange. I totally get that, but I think there's a time and a place for it, and it's great to see you guys kind of leaning into these colors, which is good stuff.